Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilk empath, and I just like doing these little talks and the way I feel about things. And today I feel pretty good about stuff. I started. I did another video and I started uploading it, and I misspoke so bad. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was a terrible. That was a bad one. I can't. It's nope." Anyway, so take 3. Ugh. My hair's gonna start getting big because I'm growing it out. It's gonna start doing fun things. Anyway, clowning around. I made a couple notes about what I wanted to talk about. First off, I wanted to have a moment of remembrance because, see, that's how people I don't think ever die is when we recall, Every year when they pass on the anniversary, we're reminded of our life with them and before the world changed so much when they left. And man I went to high school with, he was a couple years ahead of me. His name's Jeremy. He had the same last name as the town we grew up in, Redding. Dude had he was our track star. Our high school years that I went, they were they didn't win a football game in like 10 years, but they won a basketball championship under a coach named Dr. John Strohmeyer, who recently passed away. My condolences to his family. In 1989, Division III. Anyway, that was kind of cool. But football, we were just always a joke. But track, Jeremy was dude ran like a gazelle, man. And I wasn't even athletic. I just hated going home, so I'd always hang out after school and watch the sports practices. And I was a manager to a lot of teams and stuff like that. Sometimes I could go away on the games and, hang out and stuff without actually having to perform any athletic whatever. But anyway, he's a good dude, man. He was always nice to everybody. Everybody remembered him fondly. I mean, I don't know of anybody that could even think to speak ill of him, And that's the legacy that people carry on. When people are living their life, they forget how they want to be remembered. How I live my life. Somebody's always watching, somebody's always paying attention, or we can either be a good example or a bad example. And he was a fine man. He left behind a lovely wife and 2 daughters that are just gonna do so much in this world. They already are. They're already exceeded me in some capacities, And he lives on through them. I mean, so that's how people never die. Our genes are passed on, and energy never dies either. So he ain't gone, man. He's experiencing, when they're elated and he's experiencing that vibration, because like attracts like, and when they're down and low and going through hard times, he's right there to make his presence known, to raise their vibration and still be there in support, even if it's, from wherever, the cosmos, solar system, I like to call it. I thought it was kind of interesting that, I'm not sure, but it seems like I don't know. I don't think I'm even talk about that. That'll be a private little thing. I'll leave that alone. So it had been 9 years since he passed away. I was think back where he was, where I was in that time, because I was tracking, and I'd heard he was sick, and I always thought highly of him, and people don't. That's the thing, is like, we didn't hang out all the time. There were times that we hung out, like I'd met his parents at one point, and stuff like that, because I'd been to his house hanging out, or his mom, anyway, and so we were acquaintances. I wouldn't say we were friends, but I was just always really impressed because he was nice to everybody. He wasn't one of those snobby, popular jerk types. We didn't have a lot of those, but there were a few. But he wasn't one of those, and he was definitely a kind of guy that could have been. Yeah. So, okay, that's enough of that. So take 2. It was really interesting to be reminded. And then I hope that his family does know that his presence is always around. That's why I think kids are so cool, and they see spirits and things like that, and they're like, oh, you know, this person, I saw this person, blah, blah, blah. And I think it'd be really cool if the adults in their life would stop and think, you know, I wonder who it is. I wonder, you know, do you know what they're wearing? You know, how would they look like? Because our soul family is always around us, you know, and kids are just open-minded enough to see in frequency, you know, until their parents just say, no, it's a go, no, you don't see anything, and then they're like, no, I don't. There's a movie about that, Drop Dead Fred. Same kind of thing, or Polar Express. It's like, you believe in something, and you believe in it, and then when people start telling you, no, it ain't real, no, it's not true, and then you start gapping, you know, and then your world changes. Well, now it's time to change our worlds back, because people are saying, no, this is what I saw, this is what happened, and this is my reality, and I'm not going to let anybody else dispute that, and that is freaking rad. Yeah, people are doing it. So, I'm always for self-discovery here. I always encourage people to check out their birth charts. You know, check out your astrological constellations and configurations, and it really does give you a lot of insight as to who you are. And yesterday, there's been a lot of talk about the Saturn-Pluto return. This year is just going to be bizarro, man. That's what I'm just telling people. It's just going to be freaking weird. You're just going to just see stuff and be like, all right, you know, just let stuff go. So there's going to be a lot of good stuff. There's going to be bad stuff. It's going to be a full spectrum, because there's been too many people on this planet that their spirits haven't lived enough experience, and they're getting along in life because we're spirits having a human experience. And some people have just put themselves in a box, and they just get to do everything, you know, and pretty much go through their whole entire life unscathed, while other people are having these full spectrum lives, you know. I was sexually abused as freaking a baby, like 10 months old, you know, in the grossest way. And, you know, and I've witnessed so much drudgery and treachery and disgusting things, you know, violence, sexual violence, physical violence, just all this violence, you know, and all this stuff, you know, and so what I've gotten to do is I've gotten to read on these people that like to impose their will on other people, and that is the climate that's changing. It's like it's like an hourglass that's getting turned over, you know, and now all the people that have been on the bottom about to be on the top. A lot of people that have been on the top are going to the bottom, so that's how I see things, and I think I see a lot of earth changes too. Wild, weird, what? You know, that's why I'm just trying to be as cool as I possibly can, because I don't freaking want the lightning to strike me. Yeah. So, anyway, yesterday what I was dabbling in is the north and south nodes in my path of self-exploration, okay? And, what that brought me to is my south nodes are, my north node is in Gemini and my south node is in Sagittarius. And man, we are a full spectrum gamut of people. It's like a color wheel, and we all fit to a color. And some of us are higher, brighter colors, and some of us are dark and more dense colors that don't add a lot of brightness, but they just they just feel dark. Because I picture colors with vibrations. There's like a I don't know. I picture a lot of things, but so I find it to be really quite accurate. And rather than just give you a whole bunch, you don't need to know about me, but it does have a lot to say about I never had a phobia about flying, though. It does. I'll just give you a couple of examples of other people that you might know that have the same placements in me. So, anybody knows astrology. It's kind of funny, I think. I don't know. Gemini North Node. Some famous ones. Donald Trump. Now, don't hate me for this, because there's some good ones in here. I'm going to read the bad with the good. I'm not just going to freaking paint a picture like I'm all love and light. No, this is the full spectrum. So these are the other people who have these placements like me. George W. Bush, face butt dude, Mark Z, Chloe Kardashian, Charlie Sheen. I'm not. Keanu Reeves. Okay, there's one. Keanu Reeves. Dolly Parton. That one made my heart go, ooh, that's great. Elton John, you know, and all these, the only people that I look at here and I'm like, oh God, I have the same place with them. That's because I see the parts in myself that I don't like in them. You know, like DT, that guy, he freaking makes my eye twitch because his ego is so huge. So that is my ego responding to seeing the ego in him. So it's just like, I'm not letting people be people enough, right? But he just is so disrespectful to women, man. He is an example of what I could be if I don't keep my ego in check. And that's all that people are to me. You know, I can be just like them. I have been just like them. I've acted that way. I've said asinine things. I've done asinine things. Heck, when I used to drink when I was younger, I've done things that I am not proud of. That's why I don't drink anymore, so I don't continue to do the things that I'm not proud of. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people don't let that change their behavior. So that's famous Gemini North Node, some famous Sagittarius South nodes. I thought they had those here. No? That's famous Sagittarius North nodes. So, anyway. But according to this website, astrostyle.com, that's another thing. They say I just saw a sentence that it says that you know, Gemini South nodes, they can use their verbal prowess to manipulate others or even been liars, petty thieves, or con artists. These are all things I believe I was in my past life that now I'm redeeming myself and not acting that way anymore, you know. Gemini, it's because in this life I admit all my wrongdoings, and when I was a little girl, Mom used to always say the truth always came out, so that just instilled the fear of truth in me. So I just always said I did it, or I'd start to do something, you know, and I'd be like, well, this is probably going to look unfavorable in somebody else's eyes. I probably shouldn't do this. I'm going to have to answer to somebody, and then that would deter my behavior, you know, things like that. But, that's how we're supposed to, and I don't want to get in trouble, you know. Some rules I'll break because they're just darn right stupid, but the most important ones, the safety ones and things like that, I'm going to cohere to. The universal law ones, yeah, I'll definitely adhere to those rules. So anyway, that's about all I got for now. Hope you have a rad evening. Peace.